Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm back. I've built another food plan using the app that I've been using called My Macros Plus. This is the app that I use that helps me keep track of my calories and my macronutrients, so it helps me hit my goals, whether I'm trying to gain weight or lose weight. I can do it a lot easier with this app. It only costs a couple of bucks on all the app stores, but well worth it if it helps you stay consistent and hit your overall goals. Do me a favor, if you find this video to be helpful, please hit like on it, maybe even the subscribe button. I do these types of videos and other health and fitness videos several times a week. So hit all those buttons that you can see on your screen. Would be very much appreciated. And I'm going to put links in the description down below to both the iOS and the Android App Store. So if you're interested in the app, you can go and check it out. Also, if you want, there is an extra link down there that if you want to pay for it for a year, it only costs $2 to actually download it. And you can totally use the free version. The upgraded version has a few more bells and whistles on it. And if you use the link down below, it'll get you 30% off, so it only ends up costing you like $10 for the entire year or something like that. But again, free the $2 version and no other expense totally will work as well. I use that for like the first year or something like that. But all that's down below. So here we go. We're going into the holidays. How are we going to approach the holidays so that we don't ruin the progress that we've made? Or if we're trying to make some progress, we're just now getting started, how do we basically go like, okay, I don't want to ruin this next month and a half and just like gain another 20, 25 pounds, and then I'm starting 2022 behind the 8 ball, right? So a couple of pieces of advice here that I would recommend. One is, it is the beginning of November right now. All the food starts coming in towards the end of November. What I recommend is trying to start a plan now so that by the time that all of these meals come around, you've already got a couple of weeks of progress, and it's a lot more, you'll feel guilty if you go in and go ham, so to speak, right, on these meals if you've already got a couple of weeks of progress under your belt. It's a lot easier to go in there and just blow it out if you haven't been doing it anyways because you're like, what do I have to lose? But if you do 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks of progress before that, well, you've got that now to lose. So, starting early in the month of November or whatever it is right now, give yourself a little bit of padding so that way whenever the time comes, it's a little bit easier to make healthier decisions and choices because you've been doing so and really kind of being smart and, kind of struggling to make smart decisions over the last couple of weeks, and you don't want to lose that. So the other thing that I would recommend is, with all of the great Thanksgiving stuff coming through, the majority of the stuff isn't bad. Yes, there's pies and cookies, and that stuff's fantastic and delicious. But, a lot of the food is actually whole foods, healthy foods. It's just a matter of the amount that we consume them. So, for me, what I'm doing this year is I started a whole foods only diet or meal plan or whatever you want to call it already a couple of weeks back. And so for me, what that means is I can go to the Thanksgiving dinners and I can eat a pretty large amount of food and still be within my plan, right? Because I can eat a lot of the turkey, I can eat the potatoes, I can eat the green beans, I can eat the salads, I can eat all that stuff, and I don't really have to worry about restricting what I'm doing, right? Because it takes a lot of that food to go over your calories for the day. And so even if I go over the calories a little bit, I can't imagine doing it more than once. And because I'm concentrating on whole foods, then that means I can actually eat more than if I was eating, say, like a bunch of pies, which, you eat a couple pieces of pie, you're going to go over on your calories pretty quickly. So the great thing about whole foods is it takes a lot more volume when you're eating them to actually use up your calories. So, doing a whole foods type meal plan going into the holidays will make it so that you can enjoy those holidays and not feel like you are restricting yourself or that you are denying yourself pleasure, and you can still stay within your plan. So whenever it's all said and done, you haven't blown out your plan and you've been able to feel satisfied and feel like you were able to participate in a way that makes you happy. So I'm going to show you what I've done here. I built a plan for today using just whole foods. Going to talk about how I did that and show you kind of how I approached it, because the whole foods thing is a little bit different. If you're doing something like, here's some peas. These are dried peas. It's got a barcode on it, and it's got obviously the nutritional label, which tells you, here's what's in it. If you eat X amount of grams, here's what you're going to get. So you put all that into the app. Then you say, okay, I just had 50 grams, and it'll calculate it all for you. But if you take something like this, an apple, well, what does this have in it, right? Or if you have, bananas, well, okay, there's no label on that really tells you what you're like, how to track that. So it becomes a little bit more difficult, or it takes a little bit more legwork to learn to track things that don't have barcodes on them. That's why Google is your friend. Type in, this is a Honeycrisp apple, Honeycrisp apple nutrition, medium banana nutrition, whatever it is. You put that stuff into the app and just do the best you can from there. If you go to a butcher and you say, give me a slab of like fat meat or whatever the thing is. And they're like, here you go. They don't give you a nutritional label with your slab of fat meat. They just say, here's your slab. That's not an easy thing to say, slab of fat meat. So you have to kind of go and Google, depending on the type of fat meat it is, you go, what's the nutritional thing of ground beef or funky beef or whatever type. So use Google as a resource. It's not as easy as something like these almonds that have a nutrition label on it, a barcode that will automatically populate. So it takes a little bit more legwork to do this. The other thing you really kind of have to watch for is, this goes back to the Thanksgiving thing, is it takes a lot more food that's a whole food, apples, bananas, lean ground beef, veggies. It takes a lot more of that to meet your caloric goal. So if you're trying to get 2,000 calories in a day, if that's your goal, well, it's going to take more of that food to hit that goal than it would if you were eating stuff out of the freezer or the fridge that's going to be a higher caloric content. Now, that could be music to your ears. You say, well, that's great. I want to eat more. I don't want to feel hungry. That's fine and all dandy. Wait until you actually put it into practice and you find yourself having to eat more than you expected and just going like, how am I going to eat more food? You'd be surprised how full you can get and how you have to figure out, well, I have to eat more food now to be able to hit my numbers. You'll find it'll be surprising how often you're full and you need to eat a little bit more to actually hit your goal. So here's what I've done for today. I rely on the same foods on these plans day in and day out because for me, I like the simplicity of knowing what I'm going to eat or having some sort of an idea of like what's in my ecosystem or the ballpark of what I'm going to eat. And so like, take a look at this. You can see here at the top, and this is why I love this app, is it says I've got 362 total calories remaining. Now, let me show you tomorrow. You can see here it says 3,242. That's my current daily target. That's a lot of food to take in. So I've got that down to about 360, 350. And honestly, I'd be fine with just stopping there. You can see my carbs, my protein are about even. That's kind of what I want. And my fat is a little bit lower, which that all looks great if I stopped right now. For breakfast, I've got egg whites on there. I've got 3 regular eggs that I put on there on top of that. And then I had a couple of pieces of Ezekiel bread. That's the only type of bread that I'm eating on this particular plan is Ezekiel bread. Pretty light breakfast as far as calories go. I mean, there's a lot of food, but it's only 476 calories. Again, going back to the whole thing of it takes a lot more food to get your calories in. This was a pretty big serving of eggs and a couple pieces of toast and not even 500 calories. For lunch, what I did here was I put a bunch of ground turkey. I browned it, put it in a bowl. I put broccoli in with it. I put a bag of Uncle Ben's minute rice here, which is really great on this plan because it's quick. And I put some cauliflower in there. We make our cauliflower, we cook it, and then put some buffalo sauce on it. It's the, what is that, calorie-free buffalo sauce? I can't remember, but it's a really nice kind of flavor to that. I just threw it all in a bowl. 658 calories, getting a little bit more calories in now because I need them. For dinner, what I'm going to be doing is basically the same thing. I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff in a bowl, grilled chicken, a sweet potato, a half a can of these small black olives, and then I'm going to have some green olives on the side, which I love green olives. Again, only 500 calories, right? This is a lot of food. That's going to be a big bowl of food. I'm going to feel full at the end of it, only 500 calories. So again, the challenge is trying to eat enough food for the day, especially if you've got a higher caloric target such as I do right now. For snacks, I'm just trying to work in whatever I can. Banana, almond, I got these peas, I got raisins, I've got these cool sweet peppers, which are really kind of nice for snacking if you like peppers. I got an apple, I've got some tuna on there, I've got some more raisins. So, and then I've got a couple of protein powder. This is a whey isolate protein by Isopure. It's my favorite, easiest on the stomach I've ever had, and I need the protein, frankly, from those. So this is just an example of today's plan. Again, tomorrow is going to be very similar to this. I'm going to go heavy on the eggs. I'm going to go heavy on the lean turkey meat. I'm going to go heavy on the rice, the veggies. You know, people get very wrapped up in this idea of, you know, I have to have a lot of variation to be able to do this. And that might be true, but that's also probably going to be your most likely downfall is feeling like you've got to keep mixing things up because that requires you to keep thinking, well, what am I going to do today that I didn't do yesterday? You're going to get tired of trying to create every day. Try to get into a mode of simplicity, into repetition, and just trying to go with the same foods. Even if it's for a few days in a row, it'll help you stay more consistent. And then you can start kind of planning, okay, what's the next phase look like? Not the next day, but what's the next 3 or 4 days look like? And then you can plan, what am I going to do different for those 3 or 4 days? And just kind of go in bulk. If you try to do it every day, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Make sure you drink enough water as well. That's a big part of this too. So again, holidays are coming up. You can enjoy. You don't have to deny yourself the pleasure of being able to go crazy on them taters, on those yams, on the deviled eggs. That's my go-to, right? Try to stick with the whole foods as much as you can. Enjoy it. Enjoy your family. And, whatever damage you do, you'll be able to come back from it. But be nice if there was just less damage, right? So again, if this was helpful, please hit like on it, maybe even the subscribe button. I do these types of videos and several others per week. The app is called My Macros Plus. It helps me stay on track so that I can hit my weight and my nutritional goals. It can do the same for you. It costs just a couple of bucks. Links are in the description down below. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out. We'll see you on the next video.